I think the stat to pay attention to is left-handed hitters 172 in '09, and cleanup hitters are 0 for 16 versus Kyle. So that's real big going in this game today.
And the Orioles, beginning with Brian Roberts, who's a switch hitter, have 5 left-hand batters in the lineup. We discussed that when Davies pitched against the Angels on Sunday, that they had a lot of left-hand batters in the lineup, and thought that might work to his advantage, and it did. He gave up just 1 run, 3 hits in 6 innings. Now 3-0 on Roberts, who opened the game last night with a walk against Zach Greinke. And he has been on base all series. And he's on base again after a 4-pitch walk, and that's 20 walks now for Kyle Davies in 39 2/3 innings. Royals defense, Mitch Myers starting in left field for the first time. Willie Bloomquist going to third. Luis Hernandez will play at short. And Miguel Olivo back at the plate for Davies, as he was on Sunday in Anaheim. So Roberts with his 6 stolen bases over at first, and now Davies has missed with the first 5, and Miguel Olivo going to go out there and try and calm him down. Davies at times will have some trouble in the first inning, so fired up, so amped up about the game that it takes him a few batters to settle down. 62 degrees and nothing but blue sky and sunshine above Kauffman Stadium. We started on time at 6:10. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. And now 2-0 on Izturis, who struck out 3 times last night, and that's big news because he was by far the most difficult hitter in the American League to strike out, once about every 28 plate appearances. And now Roberts gets a running lead, and Olivo won't even mess with him. Kyle throws his first strike, but now Roberts at second base with nobody out.
Well, that was pretty smart on Brian Roberts' part. Kyle is concentrating on trying to throw a strike, and he just realized he probably wasn't paying much attention to him, so he took off. But I was surprised he went with so many fastballs, but went to an alternate pitch to try to get back in the strike zone.
Now Roberts going to take off for third. Olivo, no play. So 2 stolen bases for Roberts on 2 pitches and 8 on the year.
All that is right there, Ryan, is just lack of attention from Kyle. You know, he just one look, high leg kick, and you know he's a guy who has a penchant for stealing third base. You have to give him a little bit more than what Kyle gave him.
To Hernandez on one hop. Roberts had to freeze just in case Hernandez caught it on the fly, and Royals catch a break. Billy Butler thinking that Roberts came home to score after he got the throw from Hernandez. He started to throw it around the horn, as they say, and Brian Roberts almost took off.
Well, this Billy's got to be able to see that guy from third. You know, he's got to make sure he can see that play as he's setting himself up at first base.
And now one away for Nick Markakis, who is in the middle of the Orioles offense on Thursday when they won 9-5, but was 0 for 4 last night. And now Kyle bounces one up against the screen, and that is a Brian Roberts run. A walk, 2 stolen bases, and dashing in from third on a wild pitch.
That's a changeup. He just held on to it too long and really spiked it down in the ground, and Miguel Olivo didn't have an opportunity to get over and try to block that.
Now Kyle can go back to the windup against Markakis. Billy almost took one off the chin with an awkward hop, but Markakis is out, 2 down in the first inning. So now 4 earned runs allowed in his 8 starts. And this one so far coming without a base hit.
Well, sometimes when the pitcher's having trouble with his command and get runners on base, it can run. He's not dividing his attention the way he should. He's concentrating on throwing a strike, and Brian Roberts just stole second. No hesitation at second, stole third, and scored on a wild pitch.
Aubrey Huff, 3 hits and a home run in this series. We talked about him at the top of the broadcast. And the Markakis-Huff combo are both tied for 3rd in the American League in RBI. So kind of a very similar to a Mauer-Morneau in Minnesota. Some thump in the middle of the order, and he's had great success in 3 at-bats against Kyle Davies. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You go from Brian Roberts, who's 4th in the league in runs scored, leading off, and then you got Markakis and Huff both with 33 runs driven in, and that's 3rd best in the league. Still 2-2.
Yeah, one of the things when you're competing on a regular basis, and as a player or a pitcher coming out of the bullpen, you are kind of keyed up and you're ready to go, but that's the kind of emotion that you need to kind of have control of, and so you don't overthrow and get in too big a hurry. You can slow down and the game slows down for you, but when you get into a situation where everything's speeding up and you don't keep up with it, then that's when you get taken advantage of.
Just foul off to the first base side. Aubrey Huff came to the big leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays and was with them for all of those bad years and traded to the Astros. He was there briefly and now has been with the Orioles. Tampa Bay used him at 3rd base, 1st base, and the outfield, designated hitter. And now he's the Orioles' regular 1st baseman. Kyle got him to chase a pitch that was up. Sprinting in from right is Guillen. Callaspo going out from second, and Huff is into second. As Guillen was extremely deep in right field, and I don't know if he saw it right away. He was running in as hard as he could, but the only guy who had a chance was Callaspo.
Well, your middle infielder's going to go as far as he can go. He looks at the Coco and he kind of stopped. And look, when he stopped like that, you kind of feel like the outfielder's close to you, and because he was trying to catch the ball and see where Guillen was at the same time. So you like to have the outfielder, if you can, come in and run him off that ball and make the play since he's coming in.
That'll be scored a double for Aubrey Huff. And brings up Melvin Mora. A tough start in the 1st inning with a 4-pitch walk to Roberts, who then stole second, stole third, coming home on a wild pitch. And even though that pop-up was ruled a double, essentially the Orioles are getting an extra out and have a runner in scoring position, and now Mora's ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. Mora 3 out of 6 with a couple of walks, 2 runs driven in so far. He has hit in 6 straight games. Davies all over the place against Mora. He had trouble with Roberts, but seemed to pull it together with his Turris, Markakis, and Huff, but hasn't come close to throwing a strike against Mora.
Well, it looks like he's rushing, and when you rush, your body doesn't give your arm a chance to catch up, and like sometimes you overstride when you rush, and then you leave your arm back there, and that forces the ball up. So he really needs to kind of relax, and I think Miguel Oliva's trying to get him to just calm down a little bit and just go back to his game plan and concentrate on the pitch, on the target, and get the ball in the area.
3 balls, 1 strike. Well, a completely different start for Kyle on Sunday. He began by retiring 7 out of the first 8. Got into a little bit of trouble in the 4th, but escaped, allowing just the 1 run, and then retired 9 of 10.
Well, he's in a situation here, Ryan, where he just needs to throw the ball right down the middle of the plate. He's not spotting the corners. Just throw it down the middle of the plate, take your chances.
And now 3-2 on Mora. It's a 25 pitch first inning for Davies. Aubrey Huff down at second base. A little pop up to shallow right field that the Royals couldn't handle. Outside for a second walk. And now Trey Hillman will make the first visit to the mound. Usually that's not a good sign.
Usually that's a little pep talk meeting there. They just try to get him to refocus and get him back in the zone and pick up Miguel and just really find a pitch that'll work. He's tried everything. He's a wild pitch with a changeup. His fastball's been up. Haven't seen his curveball. So then he just find a pitch that he can get over the plate right now and get him out of this inning.
Well, one thing that came out of his start against the Angels, he had 3 kind of shaky starts prior to the one against the Angels, and he had said that he needed to be more aggressive, and that's exactly what worked for him against the Angels. And it's not like he's nibbling here. It's not like he's throwing a lot of breaking balls and trying to junk the Orioles to death. I think he's trying to be aggressive with his fastball. He just doesn't have the control.
And sometimes when you say aggressive, it's like controlled aggression. You know, sometimes you say aggressive and they take it to a higher level. But when they're really aggressive, meaning just picking up the target, making the pitches you want to make, where you want to make them, and then just be able to repeat a pitch if you have to repeat it. But just it's the game plan that you want to be aggressive with.
So first and second, 2 down for Ty Wigginton, and ball 1 is low. Wigginton started on Thursday, 1 for 5, and struck out 3 times. Lou Montañez was the designated hitter last night. Out in front, and the wind is going to blow that into the seats. Meyer and Hernandez giving it a look. The wind is blowing in today from right field, and the ball wasn't carrying at all towards center field last night. Mike Jacobs was able to hit one that cut through the wind with a home run to straightaway center field, but it appears, at least according to the flags tonight, that you're really going to have to get into one to hit it out to right. It's 1-2 on Wigginton.
It's all about controlling damage right now, Ryan. Just make sure you get out of this inning, you know, down 1 run, and that's kind of a moral victory going into the second inning.
Pops up a curveball. Olivo wants it, and the inning is over. So he does control the damage. A double, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases, with only 1 run allowed. third base, coming in with a .344 overall batting average, and that same middle for the last few games. Butler, Jacobs, and Guillen. Alberto Callasco moves up to number 6. Luis Hernandez and Mitch Meyer also in there. And here's the Kia scouting report on left-hander Rich Hill.
Well, a lot of strikeouts in Rick Hill. Curveball to the strikeout pitch, and he can get his fastball in the low 90s, but with some sink and tail away from right-handed hitters.
This is his first major league appearance this year. Started the season on the disabled list with a sore left elbow. 1-1 on Coco. Coco so far 1 for 9 with a walk. He has scored twice. Two balls, one strike.
But the one thing Coco needs to probably get back to, Ryan, is trying to hit the ball hard on the ground and hit line drives. He's hit a lot of long fly balls in Kansas City. That your speed won't come into play with long high fly balls in this ballpark.
And now maybe the Royals will benefit against Hill like the Orioles did against Kyle Davies with a leadoff walk. Not so fast. Coco on his way to first, but Jerry Meals calls it a strike. Rich Hill, throughout his entire professional career, has put up big strikeout numbers and big walk numbers. Coco lines it to left field. So back come the Royals with their leadoff man on. And Willie Bloomquist coming up.
Well, Hill gets a fastball, the 88-mile-an-hour fastball, inner half, and the ball up inner half to Coco. He really gets the bat through both right and left-handed. And we did just what we had talked about. He's back to hitting line drives.
Coco's 9 stolen bases, 6th in the American League, and now Bloomquist. And it seems like we say this every time Willie Bloomquist comes to the plate with a runner at first. Trey Hillman has options.
He's got a lot of options here with Willie. Willie can push a bunt. He can hit and run. He can really cover for Coco if he wanted to steal. He can hold a catcher back. But this is a good situation to be in right here.
He also does an excellent job of hitting the ball to the right side, and he has that big hole now with Aubrey Huff holding crisp.
You know, managers a lot of times are real reluctant to put a hit and run on with a left-handed pitcher, saying that the base runner won't get as good a jump. But when you put a hit and run on, you're not really worried about the guy getting a good jump off first, because the guy at the plate, you want him to put the ball in play, and you just want to make sure you get your runner in scoring position.
And now it's 3-0. The Royals have never seen Rich Hill. It's his first appearance against KC, and there's only one hitter in the lineup, Jose Guillen, who has any experience against him. So we still haven't seen his move yet. You can see the sun shining on the face of both Coco and Aubrey Huff, and during the 6-10 games that will be an issue for a couple of innings over on the right side. It's 3-1 on Bloomquist. So a little more difficult for Coco when he's trying to read the pitcher's move, but he's doing it while he's squinting his eyes because of the sun.
Well, that's true. You got to figure out a way to get out of that sun. You either got to move in closer to the baseline, but figure out a way to get out of there.
Well, Frank, you could see the intent. Willie was trying to get one through the right side. Instead, he hits it hard to Brian Roberts for a 4-6-3 double play. And we say hello for the first time to Joe Goldberg.
Is this a 2-out story? All right, we are down in the first base dugout suite, and we are joined right now by a lot of the family of Alex Gordon, including his wife, Jamie Gordon. And I've got Alex's mother right next to me and his mother-in-law on the other side of Jamie. And, you know, we've been talking about it being graduation weekend a lot of places. Well, Jamie is graduating from KU tomorrow, and this isn't an undergraduate degree, guys. This is a master's degree in social work. This is pretty big stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me about all the work that you put in, and this isn't just, you know, going out there and then getting a little. I mean, major league wide, you got a lot going on and trying to balance this. How tough has that been?
It's been pretty hard, but Alex is very supportive, and so that's been really good for me. It was hard this year, especially because he had to be in Arizona at spring training, and I had to stay home to finish up the program. But it was worth it, so we both just worked hard to see each other as much as we could and just make the best of it.
Yeah, and you guys have made the best of it. Of course, now he's home a little bit more than maybe anybody wanted him to be. I know you like him home. All the Gordon family's laughing at that one. I'll ask you the question that everybody in Kansas, and they reminded me, and Nebraska is asking, how is Alex doing?
He's doing good. I think it's better for him to be back in Kansas City and get to be a part of this and be at the games every day. But he's anxious to get back and play.
We're anxious to have him back as well. Enjoy the graduation celebration, the graduation weekend. And I know you've got to be excited for Alex for setting this up.
He's going to get a talking to, that's for sure.
You know, it was one of those things, Ryan, where Alex said, come on, let's go talk to Jamie, congratulate her. She's worked so hard at achieving this degree, and so I came down here, and as a good husband often does, he never told her.
Lessons we've all learned, right, Joel?
I'm still working on it.
3-2 on Billy Butler, and a nasty curveball strikes him out, and that's the inning. The Royals send 3 to the plate against Hill. 1-0 Baltimore at the end of 1. A tough first inning for Kyle Davies. He was able to get out of the first, allowing just a 1 run despite a couple of walks and a double and 2 stolen bases. And sometimes when you have an inning like that, you just think if he can just get out of that, get to the dugout, catch his breath, he can start all over again in inning number 2.
Well, inning number 2 just come out a little more relaxed. You done got all the butterflies out of your system, and all that early adrenaline, the anxiety of wondering how the game's going to start for you, that's out of your system. So go out and relax and pitch your game.
And a good start, 0-2 on Nolan Reimold. Reimold playing in his first Major League Series. Got his first big league hit, an infield single against Ron Mayhay on Thursday. He is 1 for 9 in the series. Two and two. There was a lot of that in the first inning as Kyle was at times having a tough time harnessing his fastball, working at a quick tempo, and that cutter is pulled foul. Still 2-2. Brian Roberts opened the game with a 4-pitch walk, stole second and then third on consecutive pitches, and then came home on a wild pitch. That's out of play behind home plate. Royals have had the benefit in the series not having to deal with Adam Jones, who's off to a great start. The Orioles regular center fielder has a tight right hamstring and hasn't appeared yet. And Reimold strikes out. Davies got him with a hard slider. That's Kyle's first strikeout.
Well, this is that hard slider, a cutter. I don't know which one he wants it to be, but that's the pitch that he started throwing, Ryan, and we didn't really know what he was throwing at that one point. And that's the pitch really he started to get some strikeouts with and have some success with.
Now, it's easy for you and me to be pitching coaches from up here in the booth, but ever since his first start against the White Sox, we've been rooting for more of that pitch.
Well, that's true because it's worked so well for everyone else. And it just has a subtle move. It takes the ball off the sweet spot of the bat to the end of the bat, or sometimes off the end of the bat. And I mean, I think he kind of gets mixed in between that pitch and throwing his curveball.
Now he gets a ground ball to Hernandez, the former Oriole. Throws out Chad Moeller. So 2 up, 2 down with Felix Pie coming up. Kyle making just his 3rd start against the Orioles. Last year took a no decision. He was pushed around a bit, gave up 7 runs in 4 innings, but the Royals bailed him out and won the game 10-7. Before that, he had faced the Orioles back in 05 when he was pitching for Atlanta. Felix Pie, a lot like Nick Markakis in the game on Thursday when the Orioles were playing well. He was right in the middle of it last night. With the Orioles scoring just 1 run, Felix Pie was nowhere to be found.
But usually if you got speed and it's in the middle of scoring runs, you're going to score runs.
Hit hard and deep, and Coco to the track in front of the wall making the catch, and the wind didn't help out Pie at all. Davies has a 1-2-3 second. Look at tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint, and another trivia angle. Who has the best stolen base percentage with the Royals? A. Willie Wilson, B. Amos Otis, C. Carlos Beltran, and D. Johnny Damon. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, and then your answer. Standard text rates apply. Again, that's A. Willie Wilson, B. Amos Otis, C. Carlos Beltran, and D. Johnny Damon. One ball, one strike on Mike Jacobs. there's that Rich Hill curveball. He used that to strike out Billy Butler in the first inning. Jacobs hit his team leading 8th home run last night. On a night when the ball didn't carry it all to center field, he got it through the wind. He has driven in 22 runs. Bending back from the curve, it's 2-2. Rich Hill, a former 4th round draft pick of the Cubs in 2002 out of the University of Michigan. That's his second strikeout, a fastball at 86. So 1 down in the second inning. Tomorrow night we hope you'll catch Big 12 baseball here on Fox Sports Kansas City as K-State takes on KU in Lawrence. Both teams above 500 in Big 12 play. So the Wildcats and the Jayhawks tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports Kansas City. Right now the K-State Wildcats second in the Big 12. Trailing the Texas Longhorns, who are usually in the top 5 in the college rankings year after year after year. 0-2 on Jose Guillen. 2 RBIs last night, driving in DeJesus and Butler in the bottom of the first inning, giving the Royals the first lead, and the Royals went on to win 8-1.
That was a big two strike base hit that he cut down his swing, went the opposite way, and he's been doing that a lot more with 2 strikes. Been able to sit on some off-speed pitches, and it was last night he sit on one but just missed hitting it in left field, just foul of the foul pole.
2 balls, 2 strikes. He is the one Royal that I mentioned that has seen Rich Hill in a regular season game before tonight, and Jose 2 out of 3 with a home run against this lefty. And the curveball just missed outside, so from 0-2 to 3-2. That's in the seats behind the Royals dugout. So Rich Hill, drafted in 2002. He was in the big leagues by 2005. And then the Cubs figured he might be a cornerstone in their rotation when he won 11 games, had an ERA under 4 in 2007. But his career took a dramatic turn for the worse as he spent most of last year in AAA. And after jumping ahead of Guillen 0-2, he walks his first. 1 on, 1 out. And while he was in AAA, some were wondering, there were some whispers, had he developed the dreaded Steve Blass disease and was unable to throw strikes, and piling up some enormous walk numbers.
Well, when pitchers start missing the strike zone and the walks start piling up, especially if they threw strikes before, then that is a possibility. I played with some guys that were like that there was no explanation as to why they lose that type of command and that type of muscle control.
1-0 now on Callaspo. 4 hits and a walk so far in the first 2 games. It's 2-0. Well, his numbers last year, he pitched in 5 games with the Cubs before he was sent down. 1-0, 4.12 ERA. That sounds harmless. 19 2/3 innings, only 13 hits. That's really good. The league hitting 191 against him in those 5 starts. That's his first throw over to first tonight. Only gave up 2 home runs in 19 2/3 innings. 15 strikeouts in 19 2/3 innings. So you're asking yourself, what the heck was he doing in AAA? Well, 18 walks. Up the middle again, and Roberts is on it. Out at second. Double play. The Orioles have turned 2 behind Rich Hill in the first 2 innings. Remaining sunlight on the Pepsi porch in right field. 1-0 Orioles. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison for Rich Hill at 90 in his first 2 innings, and Kyle Davies at 93. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. A rough first inning for Kyle, but bounced back in the second, getting the Orioles in order, and now dealing with Brian Roberts, who opened the game with a 4-pitch walk. Then he stole second. On the next pitch, he stole third and scored on a wild pitch. Kyle then, with 2 outs, gave up a bloop double, a ball that should have been caught, and then walked Mora, but was able to limit the damage by getting Wigginton on a foul pop-up, and now he's ahead of Roberts 0-2. With the walk, Roberts has been on base 8 times so far in the series. 3 stolen bases, 5 runs scored.
That's the leadoff guy. That's the guy who's doing his job in the leadoff spot, making the pitcher work in deep counts, and when he gets in hitting counts, he gets his pitch and he squares it up and gets base hit. So he's really playing a well-rounded game from the leadoff position in this series.
Chased a pitch that was up. There are 4 Royals in the area, and Miguel Olivo is the one who makes the play. I think he was assuming that he was eventually going to get some help, and that is not an easy play for a catcher.
That's a tough play for a catcher, and your corner guys have to come down and take charge. It's on the first base side. Kyle's pointing up. This was Billy's got to come in and take charge. Billy never looked down to see where Miguel was. He was centered on the ball, and when he looked down, he pulled up, but he's got to take charge on that pop-up. Something that's have a 6-second hang time, you know. He's got to get down there.
Is Turris into right center. Guillen, with the sunglasses on, makes the play. So Kyle Davies now has retired 6 in a row. That's the second time he has retired is Turris. And brings up Nick Markakis. Ball 1 on a curveball. Markakis drafted in the first round by the Orioles in 2003 out of Young Harris College in Georgia. Now, I know a little bit about college baseball. That doesn't strike me as one of the perennial powerhouses.
Well, that's a nice changeup by Kyle. This pitch just went down, and that's how that changeup's supposed to work. The one he threw before for the wild pitch that cost him a run, he just held on to it too long and buried it in the ground. But that was a good running changeup.
So 1-2 on Markakis. Two and two. We talked about it on Thursday as the Orioles are trying to get their franchise back in shape, locking some cornerstone players up to long-term contracts. Roberts and Markakis during the offseason. Davies has another 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 7 in a row. On the left is Mike Matthews. On the right is Tom Turner. They are sitting, well, Mike is sitting in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat at tonight's game, along with Tom Turner. Mike Matthews is the director of St. James Place, a food pantry and soup kitchen in Kansas City. And for the past 2 years, Mike has organized Hit It a Ton. Money raised, home runs hit by Billy Butler and Mike Aviles, as Miguel Olivo tried to bunt his way on and is out on a throw from Rich Hill. Last season, the campaign raised nearly $100,000 for every home run hit by Billy Butler or Mike Aviles. The equivalent of a ton of food is donated. Tom Turner is the director of the Bishop Sullivan Center. That's the parent organization to St. James Place. So welcome to Mike and Tom, enjoying tonight's game in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat. Ball one on Luis Hernandez, starting at shortstop. So speaking of Mike Aviles, getting another game off, as Willie Bloomquist was at shortstop last night. And Trey Hillman revealing before the game last night that Mike dealing with a stiff forearm, which isn't allowing him to go at 100%. It may have something to do with his trouble at the plate so far.
Every forearm soreness, if you have to extend through the hitting zone, if you got a tight forearm, that will affect how you get through the ball. And that might be the reason you'll see some rollovers to shortstop or third base, and maybe even some pop-ups.
Hernandez jolts one to left field. Reimold is there to make the catch. 2 up, 2 down in the third inning. Don't forget to ask about the new weekday play pack. It's a great deal for weekday games here at Kauffman Stadium in May. It includes 4 Field Plaza tickets, $20 worth of concession, and unlimited free games in the outfield, all for just $40. It's a value of over $150. Don't forget to ask about the weekday play pack. Oh, and 1 on Mitch Meyer, starting in left field tonight. So Mitch has started in each of the 3 outfield positions since being called up from AAA Omaha. And down on 3 pitches. It's a 9-pitch third inning for Rich Hill. He has struck out 3. Brian Roberts has scored the only run of the game for Baltimore, 1-0 Orioles. And speaking of switch hitting leadoff men, here's Willie Wilson.
How you doing?
Hey, Willie, how are you?
How you doing?
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium.
Thank you.
I'm sure that's a plate appearance that would make you proud? A walk to begin the game, you steal second, you steal third, and you score the first run of the game.
Everything was good except those guys wouldn't let me steal third, so I just stayed at second. They drove me in.
Willie's here to talk about the Royals Hall of Fame Classic. We'll get into that, but I'm sure you and Frank are both excited to see what that building looks like when it's done.
Yeah, I really can't wait because they had me do some stuff earlier, and it was kind of great to say all the talking and everything, and it was just great to do all that. Now I just want to know what they're going to do with it when they get there.
Well, Frank was the same way. I mean, Frank has a lot of mementos he's very proud of and is happy to give to the Hall of Fame, but that stuff is close to your heart, right?
Well, it is, and you just have to decide what you want to give up, what you can decide what you can part with for a long time. So.
That's it. Well, I gave my shoes and a glove, so hopefully somebody can look at that and say that guy was pretty quick, but those shoes were heavy.
They're a lot heavier. You know, Etro's got a special shoe that Willie would love to have had when he played.
We were just talking about this when Seattle was here, that, you know, I only know this because I read the story, but I guess the average major league shoe is like 350 grams or something like that. But Ichiro's got some that are like 260. So he basically has ballet slippers out there.
Well, if they're durable and they can hold the turns, then that would be great. But I don't think we ever had any shoes like that could be that light and that durable.
Well, you didn't need them.
Well, thanks, but I ran through a lot of pair of shoes.
I think it was all the braking that he was doing that tore the shoes.
Well, the turf and dirt was two different things. So, I mean, the turf is a little bit harder on the shoe than anything else. But, you know, it was fun back in those days playing on the turf. I really would have loved to play on this stuff right here.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were so unique, though, because of that turf.
Yeah, but, you know, baseball to me was meant to be on grass. And we grew up playing with it on grass and dirt. And, you know, every place we went, just about it was turf. So for us now that we're in our 50s, it really is kind of wearing us down.
Yeah,
I know about me.
Especially when the weather's cold.
Oh, yeah.
One out with Melvin Moore at the plate. And that is just over Bloomquist and into the left field corner. And Moore is into second base with a one-out double. We'll talk about the Royals Hall of Fame Classic in a moment, but Frank and I were having a conversation recently about leadoff hitters. Now, when you played, of course, you were one of the best in the American League, but there were a lot of guys similar to you that got on base, used their speed. You don't see the prototypical leadoff guys in the game today.
Well, not really. Really, back in our day, it was more because of the AstroTurf that you had a lot of fast guys, a lot of guys that led off like that, and you know, it was good for that part. But you know, stealing bases was something that we wanted to do, and I think nowadays it's the 2-3 run home run. Ooh, no play. Watch out. But, you know.
You're like Frank. You didn't want anything to do with foul balls.
No, that's true. I've had enough balls hit at me and thrown at me that I don't want to get in front of any. But, no, I don't think the guys want to hit steal bases like they did back when we played. It was, you know, when I was stealing, it was like running and jumping out of a car at about 15, 20 miles per hour. And at the end of the year, I mean, it took a good month and a half just to really just simmer down and just not be sore.
This one will stay in play. The Royals have had some difficulty with the pop-ups. That's a tough play for Bloomquist, running up the side of the mound, but able to retire Ty Wigginton. And 2 down in the 4th inning as we look back on some of Willie's highlights. Not only one of the fastest men in Major League Baseball, but one of the biggest fast men in Major League Baseball. And of course, I wasn't here. I was just watching you on television from Southern California when you were playing for the Royals. But the thing that comes up the most when I hear about Willie Wilson is what a thing of beauty it was to watch you leg out a triple.
That was kind of fun watching that. Yeah, it was, you know, triple. I either hit a single or a triple. Wasn't too many doubles involved in there. But, you know, when you hit the ball, you got kind of an idea where it's going to go and your speed and what you could do. And for me, I was always trying to get in scoring position, and knew these guys could get me in. So that was my job. That's what I tried to do.
Well, I just wanted to just, and Ryan and I talk about the old days a lot when we're off camera. Talk about the type of teams we used to have here.
Right.
And I always talked about the accountability of each player to the next player. Guys coming to the ballpark, ready to play every day.
That's blooped into shallow right field, and with 2 outs, Moore is going on contact. So Nolan Reimold, who got his first major league hit on Thursday, tonight adds his first major league RBI.
You know, just basically just coming to the park with that feeling that you know you can win every day, versus coming to the park with the feeling that you hope you can win every day. And once we got to that point, it was a lot more fun playing the game.
Well, you guys got to that point before I did, and I came up here, and you guys had won something like 15, 16 games in a row, and lost one and then won about 10 or 11 back in a row and went to the playoffs. So, you know, that was instilled in my brain when I first got here to know that you guys could win, and you got to be accountable for what you do out on the field. And you guys were real, I won't say forceful, but you guys made sure.
Close?
Yeah, you guys really made me realize this is what we do when you get here, and if you want to win, you do it this way. And that was really kind of fun for me.
This is Chad Moeller at the plate, and we were just showing you some of the details of the Royals Hall of Fame Classic that's coming up on July the 17th. That'll be fun. Former Royals greats going against former Major League stars right here at Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, that should be fun, but, you know, it's a big day for us because we're playing in the game, and that's sponsored by me and Farmland. But the Royals have teamed with us to do a Team Smile event, and it really is great because we get a chance to help underprivileged kids get their mouth cleaned and the teeth cleaned, and if they have anything wrong with their teeth, we try to fix it right there and then. And we've done close to about $1 million worth of free dental care for kids around this area.
Well, I also want to commend you on your Legends luncheons. You know, those have been a big hit, benefiting the Negro Baseball Museums, and that's sponsored by State Farm. So that's one event that every month everybody kind of looks forward to, and all the clinics that you've been able to help put on in the community since you live in Toronto, but you seem like you spend more time in Kansas City during the summer doing clinics, and I've been a part of a few of them and look forward to it all the time.
Well, we have a clinic tomorrow in Raytown, Bobby De Nierzo town, and that's one good thing. But, you know, I'm here because I'm known better here than I am anyplace else. So I figured if I'm going to do something, let me do it back in Kansas City. The people have been very receptive about what we're trying to do. And we're just having fun, helping people, helping kids. And, you know, really it's helping me. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me talking to kids and talking to people. And it really does really feel good when you're helping.
Willie, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, guys. And keep promoting that event. Really.
All right. Royals Hall of Famer Willie Wilson. 2-0 Baltimore, middle of the fourth. 2-0 Orioles, scoring on a wild pitch and an RBI from Nolan Reimold against Kyle Davies. Let's go back to a pitch by pitch brought to you by Arby's and Kyle Davies against Nick Markakis.
Well, when Kyle's on, his changeup is working well. I saw in that first pitch there, and he comes back with a slow curveball. And here he goes with another changeup that goes flat, that kind of flares away. And that was a big strikeout right there. That should have been a confidence builder for him in doing that at bat, because he knows he can get his breaking ball over. So now he just got to get his fastball in the strike zone where he can command it pitch to pitch.
Fouled away by Coco Crisp, having a lengthy discussion with manager Trey Hillman in Royals dugout, and Trey had a lengthy discussion with Kyle on the mound when Kyle was in trouble in the first inning. Now the Royals just need to break through against Rich Hill, who has faced the minimum through the first 3 innings because of a couple double plays. It's 0-2 on Coco. Coco singled in the bottom of the first, but Bloomquist grounded into a double play. And in the second inning with 1 out, Guillen walked. Callaspo grounded into a double play. Still 0-2. We were talking about Rich Hill and his troubles with the Cubs early last year, which resulted in him going to AAA, and problems with walks, 18 and 19 2/3 innings. He was only giving the Cubs about 3 2/3 innings per start, and that's when he went to AAA and finished up in AAA. The last time he pitched in the big leagues before tonight was over a year ago. And most managers don't have a lot of tolerance for pitchers that don't throw strikes, but if there's one guy who has the least amount of tolerance, I'm confident saying that Lou Piniella would be somewhere up there.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, you're right. He would lose it in those situations there.
Into shallow center field. PA won't get it. So Coco down in the count. 0-2 is on base. Royals be getting their second time through the order against Rich Hill.
Well, Coco did a real good job just staying with this curveball, and that's Rich Hill's best pitch. That's a strikeout pitch, and he got out front a little bit, was able to dump it in right into center field.
So Coco 2 for 2, the only 2 hits for the Royals.
Well, the Royals had this identical situation before and ended up hitting into a double play, and this is a situation where Coco's either got to run or and this is also a situation where the manager Trey Hillman can also put a hit and run on, but you don't want to stay. If you're going to steal bases, you don't want to stay at first base. You want to figure out a pitch and you want to take off.
Rich Hill has not shown the Royals a good move to first base. There's a move there. Coco wasn't fooled at all. And I would think, Frank, for a guy like Rich Hill, who has had control problems in his career, you want to do whatever you can to make him uncomfortable on the mound.
Well, I would too. And if Coco's having a tough time reading him, then he's got to go to the first base coach and say, I can't get a jump. And then that could tell the manager then that maybe I need to put something on.
Really trying to bunt one to the third base side. It's 0-1. Hill has walked 1, so he's off to a good start in that department in the first 3+ innings. He has struck out 3. Coco's running, and Bloomquist off the fist gets it into center field, but Coco didn't pick up the ball. So he does not go first to third, and that's a break for the Orioles.
Well, Ryan, I think we really just decided through our talks about whether a guy still in the base should peek in or not, or whether he should continue into the bag without. See, what Coco did wrong, he looked back to first base when he should have looked to third base. But if he takes a peek in, he would see that that's a ball in the center field, and he'd go on to third base. So don't take that much time, in my opinion, to take a quick peek in and see what happens with that ball.
That cost the Royals 90 feet. First and second for Butler. Well, he struck out looking in the first inning. Ball one inside. That's the first pitch out of the strike zone from Hill in this inning.
So that's the one thing you want to do. If you're going to steal bases, if you're not going to look in, so you got to know what your safety valve is. That's the third base coach, so you got to pick him up right away. And what Coco did wrong, he turned around and looked back to first base for some odd reason. And that's why he lost the extra 90 feet right there.
Billy has driven in 3 so far in this series. High in the air to left field. And Reimold there for the out. Here's today's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And the Royals were feeling pretty good with Billy up there with runners at first and second and nobody out. 5th in the American League as far as batting average at home, 373 coming in. Miguel Cabrera hitting 463 at Comerica Park. So first and second, 1 out for Jacobs, who also struck out his first time. Hill struck out Butler and Jacobs with breaking balls. Now the runners go, and the pitch is a strike. Runners at second and third, 1 out.
You know, I was kind of wondering if the Royals are going to take advantage of Rich Hill's time to the plate. He's like 1-8 to the plate. If you don't take advantage of that, you can't take advantage of anything as a base runner.
No, Jacobs now. A chance to tie it with a base hit. Get the Royals on the board with a ground ball as the infield is back. But he's down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Mike's just got to slow things down. Rich Hill's out pitches his curveball, and he's got to sit back and really just try to fight the fastball off, but be ready for the curveball away and just try to hit the ball back through the middle.
Did he go? Immediately, third base umpire Dale Scott says no. Remember the old game of pepper? You don't see guys play that often, but in a situation like this with the infield back, I mean, you could choke up about 4 inches and take about a half swing and get a runner home.
Well, when you look at when you pan the infield here, you really see the second baseman back.
Struck him out. So 2 down, and for the second straight night, the Royals need Jose Guillen to pick up Jacobs with 2 outs.
Well, we talked about Rich Hill's curveball, and Mike Jacobs just got way out in front and really didn't follow the ball. He's a middle-in hitter and he has a hard time going to the other half to make contact. But that's when you say you got to shorten it up and just try to hit the ball to the shortstop, because that's one of those times where you don't need to get a base hit in order to get a run in.
Now stepping off the mound and looking towards third is Coco, realizing that Rich Hill wasn't paying any attention to him. The dugout yelling at Hill to step off. This identical situation came up last night. Second and third, 1 out in the first inning. Jacobs strikes out, and then Guillen picks him up with a 2-run single. Ball 1 to Guillen, who was behind in the count 0-2 before he walked in the second.
Well, the one good thing the Royals offense is doing, those 1 and 2 hitters are getting on, and they're bringing the offense to the 3, 4, 5 guys, and it's their job to figure out how to get these runs across the plate.
Two and 0. And now Moeller wants to talk with Hill. Veteran catcher Chad Moeller, who's bounced around quite a bit, but because of his defensive skills and his ability to call games, hasn't been out of work since first coming to the big leagues.
Well, I think they're going to be careful with Jose here with a base open. And Caspo, the next hitter. I'm sure they're going to give in to him and give him a chance to put 3 runs on the board.
And now the Orioles won't mess around with Guillen. They'll pitch out, so that's an intentional walk. And they're loaded up for Alberto Callaspo, who has been no slouch this year with runners in scoring position. Rick Kranitz is the pitching coach for the Orioles. Former draft pick of the Milwaukee Brewers, never made it to the big leagues as a pitcher because of some arm injuries, and then spent 22 years as a minor league coach before getting a chance with the Florida Marlins 3 years ago. And was part of a pitching staff that had 4 rookies win at least 10 games, including Anibal Sanchez winning National League Rookie of the Year. Callaspo grounded into a double play in the second inning. Ball 1 down and away. Callaspo twice last night driving in runs with 2 outs. A single in the 5th inning, a single in the 7th. At a play, 1-1. Coco Crisp opening the inning with a single. Bloomquist singled with 1 out, a double steal, putting runners at 2nd and 3rd. Jacobs struck out, and Guillen reaching on an intentional walk. It comes down to Hill and Callaspo on the inside corner. It's 1-2. Alberto from this side of the plate is hitting .432. Lined up the left field line. It is a fair ball on the chalk. The game is tied. Jose Guillen is going to be held at 3rd base. Callaspo comes through again with 2 outs.
Again, that with the curveball being the out pitch, you really got to get the ball down, and Rich Hill left that pitch up, and that ball hit right on the chalk, right on the outer edge of the chalk, and just barely fair, but a great piece of hitting by Caspo. Slows himself down, waits on the curveball. Rich Hill hangs it, and he makes it pay by plating 2 RBI with that swing.
Well, once again, Royals not getting a runner home with less than 2 outs and then doing it the hard way. 15 doubles for Callaspo. And the Royals have tied the game in the 4th inning. And now have 2 runners in scoring position for Miguel Olivo.
Well, just a great piece of hitting right there. Just not doing anything but waiting on the ball to come to you and just trusting your hands to get through. And I mean, that was a big 2-out base hit right there.
Olivo bangs it to deep left. Reimold is there. Ball sinking. And makes the catch to end the inning. But the Royals tie it. Callaspo. The bases loaded, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Driving in Crisp and Bloomquist to tie it. 2 out, 2 strike, 2-run double. After the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Jamie from Rivals Sports Bar. Highlights and analysis brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. Kyle Davies now, after a shaky first inning, has settled down in the next 3. He did give up a run in the 4th inning, and that was on a bloop single to right field by Nolan Reimold, giving Baltimore a 2-0 lead. But he has retired 10 of the last 12 since the first. 2-0 on Felix Pie. Pie flied to the warning track in center field in the 2nd inning, which is a jolt in itself tonight with the way the wind is blowing, and now Davies falls behind 3-0. Three and one.
We'll go back to what you say. When you score, the most important inning is the next one. Kyle Davies goes out and put a 0 up, keeps the offensive momentum going, and that's a big plus for your offense.
Comes back from 3-0 to get a ground out from PA. So 1 down in the 5th. Here's the James B. Nutter pitch count. So Kyle at 79 pitches in 4 1/3, so a high pitch count. 30 of those pitches coming in the first. And now Brian Roberts walked and scored the first run, stole 2 bases in the first, and then popped out to Olivo in the 3rd. One ball, 1 strike. Talked last night about how Roberts has been around the game his whole life. He played for his father at the University of North Carolina. And I was reminded by Jamie Quirk during batting practice that Mike Roberts, Brian's father, played a year in the Royals minor league system. He went around. Kyle flips a good curve for his 4th strikeout. And Brian Roberts is 0 for 2.
Well, when Kyle is on, this is what he can do. If he can really throw the curveball hard, he can throw it soft. But when you want to throw it for a strikeout pitch, you want to spike it down in the dirt. You want it to land slightly behind home plate, and the hitters will swing over it.
Cesar Torres laying down a bunt to the 3rd base side. Bloomquist, tough angle, and Butler able to at least keep it from going into right field. That's a tough play for a 3rd baseman, as Torres has an infield single.
A lot of times when you have a guy playing a position he doesn't play a lot of, guys with speed will test him, and Willie Bloomquist got tested on this play. He actually got off a pretty good throw. The direction was good. Billy had a nice long hop, but I think he would have beat it anyway.
But that bunt single gets Markakis to the plate. Kyle has handled Markakis well so far tonight with a ground ball to first and a strikeout, but a .331 hitter with 13 doubles, 33 driven in. Gets through the legs of Olivo, and his Torres is going to move up to 2nd base.
Again, that was that cutter. Olivo didn't get down fast enough, and the ball got through his legs, and that's what I'm sure he'd be disappointed about right there.
So that puts his Torres in scoring position for Markakis. On the outside corner, it's 1-2. Davies starting to get more Kyle Davies-like control with his fastball.
Well, he might be one of those pitchers. No, Dennis Leonard was like that. He would go out in the first inning, was always a little bit shaky, but as the game went on, he just got stronger and stronger.
This time saved by Olivo. It's 2-2. Markakis tied with his teammate Aubrey Huff for third in the American League with 33 RBIs. That's the Orioles' number 3 and 4 hitters. Very late on the fastball. Read a story during the offseason. Markakis, kind of an old school approach. He does not pick up a bat during the offseason. Just gets away from it, lets the body heal, lets the brain heal, and doesn't start swinging until right before spring training.
Well, we didn't wait that long, but right after New Year's, that's when we started to work out for spring training to get ready for the next season.
Fouls it off of his shin. It's still 2-2.
That's that cutter. He got in on his hands and he had to try to fight it off. But he's got that little late subtle movement. He's got it in a good spot. And Markakis really did a good job trying to bring his hands in to get to it. But that ball, it's really a good pitch for Kyle. I mean, I really think I'm like you. It's a pitch that really helped him get through the one game that we saw. We kept figuring what was that pitch, and that was the pitch he was throwing. But I think it's confused between that and his curveball.
Up the middle, past Callaspo, and the wild pitch turns into a run. So a bunt single, a wild pitch, and the Orioles are back out in front.
That's a changeup going down and away. Markakis hit it right on toward the end of the bat. Casper had it in his sights, but it just went right under his glove in the center field.
He's going to be charged with an error. It's a tough error.
That's a tough error.
You might want to write that one down in pencil. Now breaking ball for a strike on Aubrey Huff. Huff doubled in the first inning on a bloop to shallow right that the Royals had a tough time handling. Guillen was playing deep in right field, couldn't come up for it. Callaspo had to go way out from second base, and it was off of his glove. And then Huff struck out in the fourth inning. One and one to Huff.
And the one thing you want to try to do with a man on second is you want to at least try to knock the ball down and keep it on the infield and give the pitcher another shot. But he went quite a ways and didn't get any leather on that one, so that was a tough error.
One ball, two strikes.
Again, the changeup is working to perfection. It's really doing exactly what Kyle wants it to do. It's going in the middle of the plate and then fading down toward the outside corner.
Kyle almost threw that one away. Butler getting tangled up with Markakis, who has just one stolen base. Another chance for Callaspo to second base to end the inning, but the Orioles get an unearned run and regain the lead. This guy's buddies told him they were going to introduce him to a Chiquita. That's where you're supposed to laugh, Frank. Some guys just show up dressed up as a banana. What are you going to do?
Just at a baseball stadium, you wonder where he's going or where he's been.
Hernandez over Roberts and into right center, so the Royals come right back. And Hernandez has his first hit since joining the Royals. Leadoff man on, and here's Joel Goldberg.
Ryan, I'll laugh at you,
Thank
for
you, Joel.
and with you. And speaking of laughing or smiling right now, Luis Hernandez has reason for that. This is his old team, the Baltimore Orioles, and I was talking to him tonight. He said, I really want to show something to these guys tonight. He still keeps in really close contact with Melvin Mora as well as Brian Roberts, and says that the new shortstop over there, Cesar Izturis, a fellow Venezuelan, is somebody that he actually grew up in the same town with, but he didn't know him very well because they're 6 years apart. But he said he used to watch him all the time in winter ball, guys.
Meyer lays a bunt down to get Hernandez up to second base. Rich Hill with his curveball, tough on the left-hand hitters. So a runner at second and one out for the top of the order. And now Coco, who has singled twice and scored one of the 2 runs. Last inning, the Royals down 2-0. With the bases loaded, 2 outs, got a double from Callaspo, who was down in the count 1-2. The Orioles came right back in the top of the 5th and scored an unearned run to regain the lead. 0-1 on Crisp.
Well, Mitch really made that bunt look easy. He just turned around, put it down, and remember last year he turned around against a lefty to bunt, and that's the one that just sort of rolled up and in and hit him in the face. And so he has no ill effects from that. Just stayed right in there and got it done.
Zach Jackson of the Cleveland Indians. One ball, one strike. Hernandez looking at the outfield to see the depth and sees that the outfield is shallow for Coco, especially PA in center field. He's been playing a shallow center field the entire series, but now Markakis in right has come up to play shallow.
Well, Coco's got the ability on that fastball that's up. He can really drive that ball in the alley.
Outside with a breaking ball, it's 2-1.
Now, Rich Hill's curveball is supposed to be a strikeout pitch, but the only time he ever gets in trouble is if he leaves it up. So lately, it really hasn't been going down like he really wants it to go down. It's really just staying up in the hitting area.
Fastball is driven to center. PA moving back. Hernandez will tag, and he'll move up to third base. Coco got a pretty good swipe at it, but the last couple nights the ball has not been carrying well to center field. Well, high school and college students, don't forget every Wednesday is an Inc. College Nights with $7 tickets, and coming up on this Wednesday it's also a happy hour with concession specials in the outfield experience. Inc. College Nights at Kauffman Stadium. Hernandez at third, and 2 away for Willie Bloomquist. Willie batting second, playing at third base. Mark Tien getting a game off against the tough lefty Rich Hill. On the outside corner, strike one. Willie grounded into a double play in the first. And then he, along with Coco, scored on the Callaspo double in the fourth. Willie had singled and stolen a base. That curveball is low. 348 overall in situations like this, hitting .333. Off the fist to shortstop. And as Torres throws him out, that's the inning. The Royals leave Hernandez at third base. For the Coors Light freeze cam, and with the Royals scoring 2 in the bottom of the fourth, it was this Callaspo double on the outside of the left field line. You can see it kick up some of the painted grass, scoring 2 to tie it at the time. Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Nice crowd here tonight watching Game 3 between the Royals and the Orioles. Baltimore winning on Thursday 9-5. Royals coming back last night, ending the 6-game losing streak, winning 8-1. Orioles with a 2-0 lead before Callaspo's 2-run double in the fourth, and then Baltimore regaining the lead in the fifth with an unearned run on an error by Callaspo. Kyle Davies has walked 2, but those were back in the first inning. 4 strikeouts. He's given up 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 run unearned. 2-2 to Melvin Mora. Mora, Wigginton, and Reimold coming up here in the 6th inning. Off the hands, shallow right, long run for Callaspo. He's got it.
That's a really nice play by Alberto Callaspo right there, Ryan. That's one of the toughest plays for a middle infielder, is to be able to go toward the line and catch that ball easy, especially when you got the first baseman on one side and the right fielder coming, and he made that play really easy.
So 1 away to Wigginton, who's 0 for 2, and he grounds it to deep third. This is a long throw for Willie, but he unloads in time, and almost a nasty collision between Wigginton and Butler.
This is one of those plays where you're thankful that you play the outfield and your arm stays stretched out, and Willie does a great job backhanding this ball, setting his feet, and then transferring back to first base, and Billy did a good job not only catching the ball, but he needs to make sure his foot's not in the baseline at the same time. So he's got to remember to step out and not step down the line. That would have made for a really bad collision.
That would have been frightening. Those are two big boys. Reimold, his first major league RBI in the 4th inning. Down in the count 0-2. And that single in the 4th put the Orioles in front 2-0. Davies wobbled in the 1st, only gave up 1 run, but then he went on to retire 8 in a row. Gave up a run in the 4th inning, an unearned run in the 5th, and now he's up over 100 pitches and trying to finish strong here in the 6th. It's 2-2 on Reimold. Deep into the left field corner and up against the wall. Meyer plays it well, but Reimold is into second base with a 2-out double. The Royals do have Jamie Wright warming up in the bullpen. And the batter now is Chad Moeller. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. So runner at second with 2 down. Chad Moeller at the plate. 2 ground balls to short so far, hitting right at 200.
But Reimold really got some quick hands on that fastball. It was up middle in, and he really just got the bat around on it, and I just really impressed with how quick his hands are.
The Baltimore Orioles are Chad Moeller's 7th major league team. Into left center. Meyer and Crisp are there, and Mitch makes the catch. The Orioles leave Reimold at second base. So Davies allows 2 earned runs through 6.
Two, and this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Justin Medler from Shawnee, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Justin will win $400. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Justin will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
So, Frank, we have a banana and a Scooby-Doo at the game tonight. not aware of any type of a fruit or cartoon character dress-up competition.
All you need is Shaggy.
Billy deep into the left field corner. There was some point, however, before that fella left the game that he put on his Scooby-Doo outfit, looked at himself in the mirror and went, "I'm good." And he headed out to Kauffman Stadium.
The key is getting someone to sit next to him and say, "Yeah, you really are good."
Same thing with the guy in the banana suit. But, you know, that's one way to get yourself on TV, and he knows it.
I don't think I want to send that picture to Mom.
Billy struck out in the first inning, flied out to left in the fourth. And he strikes out again as Rich Hill showing off that big curveball, and 4 of the 5 strikeouts on the curveball. After a Monday off day, the Royals begin a 3-game series with the Indians, beginning with a T-shirt Tuesday. It's a 7-10 game with Cleveland. The first 20,000 fans will receive a T-shirt featuring George Brett from AT&T, our second T-shirt Tuesday of the year. So come on out. Royals and the Indians, game 1 of 3 beginning on Tuesday night. And now Mike Jacobs. He has a couple of strikeouts against Rich Hill. He struck out once on the fastball, once on the curve. 2 balls, no strikes.
But when that curveball goes down, it's really going down. And when the right-hander hitters swing over it like that, it's almost like they're swinging at a slider down and in.
Two and one. Well, we've seen enough from Rich Hill tonight to see why the Cubs were so excited about him a couple of years ago, and why the Baltimore Orioles figured, hey, let's give this guy a chance, see if he can pull it back together.
Well, if he can have a curveball like that, which you can say legitimately that's a strikeout pitch, and he gets strikeouts with it, and move his 88 to 90 mile an hour fastball in and out with some sink, I can see why also, Ryan. You're right.
Look at that curveball. I mean, that thing started behind Mike Jacobs and dropped in for a strike. Now dropping his arm and giving Jacobs a look he hasn't seen all night, so he saved that for the bottom of the 6th inning and has struck out 6 tonight.
Oh my goodness, that's from down under right there, and I say he just really just locked him in place right there. He just couldn't do nothing but just watch it go by. And that's right on the outside corner. I mean, that's well placed with some good break, and for him not to throw that pitch even in warm up, and even throughout the game, and able to make that pitch that good right away, that's really nice.
Jose Guillen singles into left field after walking in his first 2 plate appearances. So 1 on 2 out for Callaspo.
Jose is the one guy that can look for that breaking ball coming in and really open up and hit it, and he did a real good job right there, and he hit it right between in the 6 hole. So he's the one guy that he really doesn't want to make any mistakes with. He's kind of carefully pitched around him the first 2 at bats.
Oh, and 1 on Callaspo with a big 2-out, 2-run double in the 4th inning. It tied the game at 2. Baltimore scored a run in the 5th then on an error charged to Callaspo. It's 1-1. Callaspo has driven in 4 so far in this series. This is game 3. Tied at 1 so far. Tomorrow afternoon it's Luke Hochevar against Koji Uehara. First year in the big leagues after coming over from Japan. Left side passes Turris 2 on, 2 out with Olivo coming up. A 2-hit game for Callaspo.
What's another? This fastball he threw right in like a two-seam sinker, and then Caspo just stayed right on it and drove it in the hole. Just got under the glove of his shirt.
Our next Royals broadcast in high definition is coming up tomorrow for that afternoon game. 1:10 first pitch. Royals live beginning at 12:30. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Now Dave Tremblay is going to come out. He'll remove Rich Hill and bring on right-hander Danny Baez to face Miguel Olivo. The Royals with 2 on, 2 out in the 6th. Look at tonight's sprint, you call it again. In your opinion, who has the best stolen base percentage with the Royals? A little trivia angle tonight, and 40% saying Carlos Beltran. Still time for you to text in at 432-432. Keyword Royals, followed by a space and your selection. Danny Baez to face Miguel Olivo. And Olivo, after a fastball at 88 miles an hour. Appearance number 13 for Baez, his second in this series. He pitched the 6th inning on Thursday in the 9-5 Baltimore win. Gave up a hit and 2 walks, but no runs. And Olivo poking it towards right field and playable for Markakis. The Royals strand 2 in the 6th inning. Ryan Roberts walking, stealing second, stealing third, coming home on a wild pitch. Baltimore led 2-0 when Alberto Callaspo doubled home 2 in the fourth to tie it, but then this error by Callaspo in the top of the fifth allowed his Turris to score with 2 outs and put Baltimore back out in front 3-2, and that's where we are now going into the seventh. And Kyle Davies, over 100 pitches, is going to come out and pitch the seventh. We'll have the 9, 1, and 2 hitters coming up. ...108 pitches for Kyle. Felix Pie is 0 for 2. Horacio Ramirez throwing in the bullpen. It was Jamie Wright warming up while the Orioles were batting in the sixth. Now with a pitch count like this, we've seen this before where Kyle might be out there as long as he's getting outs.
Well, maybe hitter by hitter. You know, usually he's within that 100 to 110, 111 pitch mark is usually making a decision on the starting pitcher.
He has just tied his season high at 111 pitches. Callaspo charging, has to hurry with PA's speed, but gets the Orioles center fielder, who is 0 for 3, 1 down in the seventh inning. Kyle trying to go 7 innings for the first time since his first start. On April the 9th at Chicago, 7 shutout innings against the White Sox. Royals won that game 2-1. Kyle did not figure in the final decision. Ball 1 on Roberts. Well, on one hand, Frank, teams preach the importance of pitchers being able to finish games, but at some point you got to stretch them. You got to have them pitch another inning beyond the so-called pitch count. That is right to Mitch Meyer in left field, who now takes a couple of steps towards the line.
I think what they try to do here is they try to decide if you're strong going into what they perceive to be your pitch count, then they'll let you go right through it to the next hitter.
2 down with his Turris coming up. Fans with MLB.com mobile services, you can get text updates, watch videos, and listen to games live on your mobile phone. To find out what's available, text SHOP, S-H-O-P, to 65246. That's SHOP to 65246. Standard message fees apply, and products are available from select carriers on select handsets. MLB.com mobile services. Is Turris 1 for 3? His run in the fifth inning, right now the difference in the game, he singled with 2 outs, went to second on a wild pitch, which ended up being a big play because when Markakis grounded one off the tip of Callaspo's glove and went into center field, his Turris was able to score, and Davies rewards Trey Hillman for that extra inning, going 1, 2, 3 in the seventh. Lets him go out for the 7th. 1, 2, 3. And now finishes with 118.
Well, he went through another wall, you know, and I think that if he'd been struggling going into that the 7th inning, he probably wouldn't have gotten it. But I think if you're strong and you want to push him through one more, then you push him through. I think it's a good confidence builder for Kyle.
Danny Baez, who got the last out of the 6th, stays in for the 7th and falls behind Hernandez 2-0. Hernandez singled last time up, was bunted to second by Mitch Meyer, but the Royals couldn't get him home. He's 1 for 2. 2 balls, 1 strike with Meyer on deck, and then Coco Crisp. Three and 1. Royals scoring 2 runs against Rich Hill in 5 2/3 innings. Hill struck out 6, had a great curveball tonight. He did not go, and that's a leadoff walk. So the tying run at first base with nobody out. Let's go around the American League. And Minnesota losing to the Yankees in 11 innings. Alex Rodriguez with a walk-off home run against Craig Breslow. It was Toronto over Chicago, and the Blue Jays also scoring late. Tampa Bay beating Cleveland again. Cleveland blowing a 7-0 lead last night. So the Indians are having big-time trouble. Royals will see the Indians beginning with a 3-game series on Tuesday. Texas has won 6 in a row, and they have a 3.5 game lead now in the West, beating the Angels again. Detroit in front of Oakland. They're tied with the Royals for first place, and later on tonight, Boston at Seattle. 1-0 now on Mitch Meyer, who laid down a bunt his last time, but that was against the tough lefty Rich Hill. Mitch struck out in his first at bat against Hill. Meyer's going to have to hurry out at second base. Double play, the 3rd tonight for the Orioles. Coco 2 out of 3, a run scored and a stolen base. The 3 double plays grounded into by the Royals tonight means 34 for the season. The American League leaders, Detroit and Toronto, have grounded into 40. Coco running up to bunt, missed. It's 1-1. Two balls, 2 strikes.
You know, the double play ball, Ryan, has really been rearing its ugly head as far as the Royals are concerned. It's really stopped them a couple of times to get the leadoff guy on, and the double play takes it away from him.
That pitch sailed right off the mask of home plate umpire Jerry Meals.
They just really got under that one, and you know, normally when a catcher misses a whole ball like that, it means he's probably looking for something else.
inside corner. Coco strikes out, leadoff walk, but the Royals send just 3 to the plate, hitting into their 3rd double play tonight. To Orioles, a nice crowd watching tonight. They enjoyed our defensive play of the game earlier tonight, brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense. Alberto Callaspo running down a pop-up into right field off the bat of Melvin Mora in the 6th inning. Horacio Ramirez takes over for Kyle Davies, who went 118 pitches. Some left-hand hitters coming up with Markakis and Huff here in the 8th inning. So Kyle Davies, 7 innings, only 5 hits, 3 runs, one of the runs unearned. In fact, the difference in the game right now is an unearned run. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and really hung in there after a shaky first inning. Kind of reminded me of that start that he had in Texas.
Well, that had a chance to be an ugly start there, and he got out with only allowing 2 runs and went on to pitch a fine game.
Now strike from Ramirez to Nick Markakis. It was his ground ball that resulted in the error by Callaspo, and Cesar Izturis coming around to score in the top of the 5th inning. Royals had just tied it in the bottom of the 4th, and nobody has scored since. One ball, 2 strikes. These two have hooked up 11 times before tonight, Markakis and Ramirez. Markakis 3 out of 9 with 2 walks. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Line to left field. Markakis' first hit of the night, and his first hit since Thursday. And now Aubrey Huff. Tomorrow, 10,000 kids 14 and under can get up close and personal with a lion here at Kauffman Stadium, as we're giving out Build-A-Bear Workshop Lions tomorrow for the 110 game with the Orioles. Get your tickets at 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com, here at the Kauffman Stadium box offices or area Hy-Vee food stores. Aubrey Huff doubled in the first inning, 1 for 3 tonight. Two balls and no strikes.
lot of times it really doesn't matter how good of pitches you have, but if you can't throw your fastball over, and if you can't stay ahead of hitters, they seem to kind of figure you out. He's behind Markakis, and he hit a line drive right fastball to left field, and here he's behind again. So when you have an advantage over a left-hander, but the only advantage actually is getting ahead of him so your other pitches can work. When you're in a 3-0 situation, he's got you no matter what you're throwing up there.
Well, and Ramirez has thrown strikes to Aubrey Huff. He has done well. Huff is just 1 for 10 against Ramirez. Two stolen base attempts for Markakis so far, one of them successful. Huff into left center field, long run Coco. It's slicing towards Meyer. Markakis tagging but holding. Meyer makes a good throw to second base. So one away, and Melvin Mora coming up.
One of the good fundamental things about Mitch and what really prevented Markakis from thinking about going to second was how Mitch caught that fly ball. I mean, he really got behind it and had his momentum coming forward. And a lot of times if he's going backwards and catch it off on his left side, then the runner tagging will go to second base on that play.
Ramirez is out. Jamie Wright comes in. Wright coming in with Nick Markakis at first base, and one out, and Melvin Mora coming up. Markakis opened the inning with a single to left, and Huff flied to left.
What Trey Hillman's looking for here, Ryan, is a ground ball. He wants Jamie to use his sinker, try to get a ground ball double play and get out of this inning.
Mora taking all the way, 0-1. A walk in the first, a double, and a run scored in the fourth. And then popped out to Cayaspo on our defensive play of the game in the sixth. Good sinker, 0-2. Some sinkers, most sinkers are designed to get ground balls, but every now and then you get a swing and miss sinker.
When they drop like that one did. That one just got there and said, okay, hit me. And when you went to swing, it just dropped right out of the strike zone. And that's that good sinker that turns over and just goes straight down. That's when you will beat in the ground.
Still 0-2. This is Jamie's first appearance in this series. Kyle Davies went the first 7. Ramirez facing the first 2 here in the 8th. Broken bat. Out at second, and Wright gets the double play. So it's still a 1-run game with the Royals coming up in the bottom of the 8th. They'll send up Bloomquist, Butler, and Jacobs. Still a 1-run game, 3-2 Baltimore. That's been our score since the top of the 5th inning. Fans, another edition of Royals Alumni Fans Batting Practice is coming up on July the 8th from 8 a.m. until noon here at Kauffman Stadium. 10 Royals alumni here to work with you. A little different this time. We've had dads coming out with kids, and this year moms are invited. The kids have to be 14 and older. $300 per adult, $100 for each kid, limited to 40 spots. If you're interested, 816-504-4150, or you can go to royals.com and look for the link. Jim Johnson, who got the last 5 outs of the game on Thursday, on to face Bloomquist, Butler, and Jacobs. And the first pitch is rolled to his Turris, who won a Gold Glove in 2004, and Willie Bloomquist is 1 for 4. Rich Hill making his first start, coming off the disabled list tonight. Gave up 2 runs in 5 2/3. Danny Baez picked him up with an inning and a third, and now Jim Johnson. Butler glad to see Hill out of the game, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And strikeouts with curveballs. Of course, Hill was a lefty, but that was a pretty good looking curveball for strike 1. Billy faced Johnson on Thursday night, made the last out of the game on a ground ball to shortstop. It's 0-2.
Johnson really throws Billy a hard breaking ball for strike 1, and then 94-mile-an-hour running sinker down underneath the swing.
Another roller to short. 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. And speaking of hitters, we're glad to see Rich Hill out of the game. There's Mike Jacobs with 2 down. Struck out all 3 times against Hill in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th innings. 6 strikeouts for Hill against, well, 5 of the 6 against 2 hitters. Butler twice, Jacobs 3 times, and he got Meyer once.
Well, that night when we thought the ball wasn't traveling to center field, Mike Jacobs really proved us wrong there by hitting a low line drive over the center field wall.
That was the beginning of a 4-run bottom of the 4th inning, capped on another home run, a 3-run shot from Miguel Olivo. Into deep left center field. Reimold is back to the track and makes the catch. So I got the fans out of their seats. The Royals are down in order in the 8th. Coming up on Boulevard Royals Live immediately after the game with Joel Goldberg and Jamie Quirk, maybe talking about a Royals winner in the bottom of the 9th. Royals down by 1, recapping Kyle Davies' night. Went 7 innings, 118 pitches. We'll have post-game interviews. And Joel and Jamie will talk about Alberto Callaspo's 2-out success this year. He did it again tonight. Boulevard Royals Live, brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. And that's the second bat that Jamie Wright has demolished in the last 2 innings, getting Wigington to ground out.
This is a tough pitch and a very good play by Willie Blomqvist. I mean, he goes well to his left in front of Hernandez to make this play.
Willie starting at short last night, at third base tonight. Now Nolan Reimold, 2 hits, his first major league multi-hit game, his first major league RBI. Jamie hoping to have an outing without incident. You might remember his 2 outings during the road trip. Sunday in Anaheim with that ground ball back to him and a chance for an inning-ending double play, but threw the ball into center field. Anaheim, the Angels, went on to score 3 in the inning and win 4-3. Butler backhands a low throw from Hernandez, And 2 down in the 9th inning. The best stolen base percentage with the Royals, you call it, presented by Sprint. 40% with Willie Wilson. Carlos Beltran with 33%. The actual best stolen base percentage, Carlos Beltran. Thank you for participating tonight.
That was probably in the least amount of years with the Royals of the Amos Otis, Willie Wilson era. Probably, I kind of thought Amos would have it because of the longevity and how many years he'd been doing it. But Colors had a very successful stolen base rate when he was here, and when I was coaching, he had some good runs.
Slapped past Butler and into right field, but Chad Moeller will hold with a single.
Really, he just really got beat with that fastball, and he had an open stance, and he just slapped the ball right inside the bag. But Jamie left it up for him, and that's those balls that get hit like that.
So a runner at first and 2 down for Felix Pie. 0 for 3 so far. So Jamie had that tough inning on Sunday against the Angels, and then on Wednesday the A's had that 5-run 7th inning and pulling away for the 2-game sweep. 4 of those runs were charged to Jamie Wright, but because of an error, all the runs were unearned.
Well, that was really the first really chink in the Royals defensive armor was that play. Normally that play is made and they continue on, but it seems like when they didn't make that play, then it seems like the defense and everything that sort of got out of whack for that rest of that road trip.
Blocked by Olivo. In the bottom of the 9th inning against Orioles closer George Sherrill, who's warming up. It'll be Jose Guillen, Alberto Callaspo, and Miguel Olivo. Two balls, 2 strikes. Seven innings from Kyle Davies, giving up all 3 runs, the last of which unearned because of a Callaspo error. 1/3 scoreless from Ramirez. 3-2 from Jamie Wright to Felix Pie. Wright got the final 2 outs of the 8th on a double play from Melvin Mora. And now 2 outs and nobody on in this inning. Moeller is singled, and he'll be taking off on this 3-2 to Pie. Very late swing to stay alive.
I think in this situation here, with PA hitting 197, you debate a little less right now because he hasn't got any hits tonight. But I think that right now you just got to go right after. You know, throw the ball down the middle of the plate, let it sink, and whatever happens, happens. But the worst thing you do here is walk PA in this situation.
And give Brian Roberts a chance to add to the lead. Callaspo diving, he's got it. Maybe a play at third, and didn't get him. Heads up play, realized there was no chance at first, and nearly got Moeller over at third. And Moeller looking at third base coach Juan Samuel as if to say, boy, am I lucky I wasn't out.
Well, he was running on the play, and he continued to run, but what really made him safe at third was the fact that Alberto came up looking to first, which he should have, but with the speed of PA, he really didn't have a play on that play. Once you leave your feet with a guy that fast, chances are you're not going to have a play at first base.
Bob McClure is going to go out and talk to Jamie Wright. I would assume they're going to discuss how aggressively they want to go after Brian Roberts, who's hitless tonight, but a very good hitter. And don't want to take anything away from Cesar Turris, but if you pick one of those two as far as who you're going to give the opportunity to extend the lead, Roberts is certainly the more proven player.
And this puts the ball back in the court of the Orioles, because now you got PA at second base who can steal, but if you steal, then they have an option of walking Roberts and pitching to Xeria. So sort of a cat and mouse game here. But what Jamie can't afford to do is be concerned with the guy at first. He's got to go after the hitter.
Brian Roberts 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts against Jamie Wright before tonight. Walked and scored in the first inning after stealing 2 bases. Stole second, and then 1 pitch later stole third against Kyle Davies. He has popped out to the catcher, struck out, and flied out to left. One and one to Roberts. Two and one. Every out from Jamie Wright since coming in has been on the ground, and even though he's fallen behind Roberts, his sinker has good action to it. And Roberts, a good hitter, realizing that if he's going to do anything against Jamie Wright, he's going to have to pick a pitch that's up.
It's got to make him get it up right. If anything down, he's going to roll over on and hit a ground ball.
A 2-1. Left field. Meyer makes the catch. It'll be Guillen, Callaspo, and Olivo coming up. Bottom of the 9th inning. It's been 3-2 Baltimore since the 5th. And the Royals with a good part of the batting order coming up. Jose Guillen, Alberto Callaspo, and Miguel Olivo against George Sherrill, who's going for his 7th save.
Well, George pitched for me in the fall league, and I really didn't ever see him as a closer, but he's really selling in that role for the Orioles. But he's going to be somewhere around the 89 to 90 on his fastball. He'll cut it, sink it, and then he's got a changeup that he'll use. But then he's got the curveball that he'll change speeds on. So he's got the basic pitches that a left-hander would have going into this inning.
Some of the fans with the rally caps on. The guy in the banana suit, by the way, that's not a rally outfit, or the Scooby guy. They've been wearing that all night. Guillen has walked twice and singled. A couple of former teammates here. They played for the Mariners together in 2007. Well, you can understand why Sherrill didn't strike you as a guy that would be a closer because of the numbers you talked about with his fastball, but hitters will tell you that he is deceptive, kind of short arms the ball. Jose had a good swing and fouls it back. But he throws strikes. He's not afraid to pitch inside. And when he was in Seattle, he was influenced by Eddie Guardado, another lefty who didn't necessarily have closer stuff, but got the job done.
But the big thing is to throw strikes, get ahead and change speeds and pitch both sides of the plate.
Into center field, but Guillen got underneath it. And PA making the catch. One away in the ninth.
But just take a look at this pitch right here. And what you said, Ryan, probably is true. He's got the little short arm, and the ball kind of gets on you a little bit faster, so that 89, 90 will look like 92, 93. I mean, he can get up to 92, 93, but comfortably he's in that 89 to 90 range.
Iaspo has never faced George Sherrill. At the knees for strike one. 2 hits, 2 RBIs for Iaspo. The only 2 runs driven in. 2 outs and the bases loaded. And down in the count 1-2, his double scored Crisp and Bloomquist to tie the game. And now it's 0-2 from Sherrill. Baltimore went back out in front in the top of the 5th. An error by Iaspo allowed his Turris to score on a ground ball from Markakis. One and 2. George Sherrill played 5 years in independent leagues before signing on with the Mariners and getting to the big leagues. Two balls, 2 strikes. He treats the 9th inning as just another 3 outs. And if that's the way he sees it, fine.
Well, that's less pressure. So whatever you can do to relieve the pressure, that's how you have to think.
Orioles were guarding the line, so Aubrey Huff was right there to handle that shot from Iaspo. 1-run game, and you're going to have everyone guarding the lines, and that took away an extra base hit. Now, last year, Miguel Olivo and George Sherrill hooked up in the 9th inning, and Miguel Olivo, with the Royals down, 2 outs, nobody on, an 0-2 pitch, and like a bolt out of the blue sky, hit that home run to tie it, and the Royals won it in the 11th inning on a base hit from Jose Guillen. And I'm sure Sherrill remembers that, and I'm sure Miguel Olivo remembers that. So far tonight, Olivo is 0 for 3.
Well, that pitch that Miguel Olivo hit off of Sherrill was a curveball, and he started him off with a curveball.
There's the breaking ball again, but the one that he hit out was over the plate. Those two on the outside, maybe a little bit further.
Well, those are definitely pitches right there. That's the curveball that don't come across the plate, kind of like Rich Hill's. That one just sort of stayed out and more went down where it was on the location that it was at.
Now 2 balls, 1 strike. John Buck has moved to the on deck circle. So if Olivo gets on, Buck will bat for Luis Hernandez. Challenge him with a fastball. And it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. George Sherrill, when he's not in the game, can use the bill of his cap as an ironing board.
I think
he has no bend in it at all. And this time he gets Olivo. So Olivo got him last year with a home run. Tonight Sherrill has a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th to pick up his 7th save. And the Orioles have taken a 2-1 advantage in this series. It's a shame, Frank, that the